Welcome to this explainer. You know, in Syria, there's a name that carries a weight so dark, so heavy, that mothers actually use it to frighten their children into silence. Men lower their voices to barely a whisper when it comes up. Families just pray every single night that no one they love will ever disappear behind its towering gates. Because the terrifying reality is, once you enter Saydnaya, you rarely come back. For years, nobody knew exactly what happened inside. What happens within its walls is entirely cloaked in secrecy. Men are literally dragged from their homes in the dead of night, thrown into trucks blindfolded, and they just disappear. The outside world is left completely in the dark. But today, through some incredibly brave research and survivor testimonies, we're going to break that secrecy wide open.
Section 1. Behind Closed Doors. The Secret on the Mountain. So from a distance, it kind of just looks like a quiet, imposing military building sitting on a mountain, right? It's about 30 kilometers north of Damascus. But inside, behind those closed steel doors, researchers and survivors have uncovered a reality of systematic torture and undeniable crimes against humanity. That quiet exterior, it's just a mask. To the inmates inside, it is known as the human slaughterhouse. 15,000. Take a second to really let that number sink in. Since the Syrian crisis kicked off in 2011, tens of thousands of people have vanished into government prisons. In this one facility alone, more than 15,000 human beings have died in custody. And these aren't just statistics on a page. These are real people completely erased from existence.
Now you might be wondering, if cameras are banned and secrecy is absolute, how do we actually know all this? Well, Amnesty International and forensic architecture had to get creative. Using cutting-edge 3D technology and the deeply embedded acoustic memories of survivors, they literally rebuilt the prison digitally, block by block, sound by sound. They pulled this nightmare into the light using the only evidence that made it out, the memories of the people who survived it.
Section 2. Welcome to the darkness. The arrival.
Let's talk about what happens when those heavy metal doors actually open. For Jamal Abje, a peaceful community worker, the descent began the literal second he arrived. The whole process is designed to instantly strip away your humanity. First, you hear the guards screaming with joy. It's this horrifying, twisted celebration of fresh victims arriving. Then, prisoners are completely stripped naked, beaten with cables and pipes, and forced to bow to the frozen floor. They are forbidden from even straightening their backs.
Jamal recalled the experience, saying, "There's a feeling of shock, of terror. I mean, just imagine that exact moment. The heavy metal doors close behind you. The outside world is totally gone. You're suddenly in a place where your very existence is in the hands of people actively trying to break you. The sheer panic sets in instantly, because inside Saydnaya, mercy could literally get you killed."
Section 3. The Architecture of Silence. A prison built on fear. Diab, a Syrian activist who survived the prison, described it perfectly. He said, "Saydnaya is absolute silence. Anyone who raises their voice is subjected to punishment or beating." In Saydnaya, silence isn't just quiet, it is a weapon. Outside of the brutal interrogations, the prison is kept in this heavy, dead stillness. Speaking freely or even making an accidental sound means risking your life. Silence literally means survival.
And because prisoners are often blindfolded or shoved into underground cells with absolute darkness, hearing quickly becomes your primary sense for survival. This total sensory void strips away your vision and forces you to rely entirely on your ears. Every single sound is magnified. Sometimes the only thing survivors could hear were drops of water leaking from the ceiling. But when that silence finally breaks, it is terrifying.
To quote Diab again, "You hear sounds. Your heart falls to the floor from the sheer force of the beatings. It's pure psychological torture. Because you can't see what's happening, your mind just fills in the gaps. You hear men fighting silently over crumbs. You hear a fellow inmate being dragged down the hall. You hear the brutal impact of violence in the dark. It leaves everyone in a constant, paralyzing state of dread."
Section 4. Echoes of Survival. The Physical and Mental Toll.
The level of control the guards have is staggering. They maintain absolute authority over every single basic human function. You sleep by command, wake by command, eat by command, use the bathroom by command. Guards would throw tiny pieces of bread onto the floor like they were feeding animals. Men became so desperately thirsty they would like water straight from the moldy walls. It is a systematic process designed to make you feel completely helpless.
And the physical devastation? It is undeniable. A man entering Saydnaya might weigh around 100 to 110 kilograms. By the time they leave, if they leave, they often weigh just 40 to 45 kilograms. That is well over half their body weight, just gone. Starved away by disease and relentless abuse.
The prison literally consumes them until they are treated like ghosts.
Section 5. A call for justice. Breaking the silence.
Surviving Saydnaya comes with an incredibly profound burden. As one source put it, every detainee who managed to get out has a message they must deliver, for the whole world to know what is happening. Many of these survivors still wake up screaming in the middle of the night, but they endure the massive trauma of recounting their nightmares because they absolutely refuse to let the silence win.
So, what does this all mean for the international community? Well, Amnesty International has a very clear demand. Prioritize these detention abuses in any peace negotiations. You cannot just sweep systematic torture and tens of thousands of disappeared people under the rug. It has to be pushed to the absolute top of the global agenda.
The 3D models have been built. The horrific acoustic memories are recorded. The truth is finally out of the darkness. You know, there's a profound saying among those who made it out: some people escaped Saydnaya with their bodies, but nobody escaped it with their soul. The human slaughterhouse still stands on that mountain today. The only question left is, will the world finally force open the doors of Saydnaya? Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions and keep seeking the truth.